Hello and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Oh, Daniel. We're back to back right now.
Yep. No, we're not. We're side to side.
Yeah, it's true. We normally try I normally try to have some witty, transition into it. No, we're just going back to back because you have a trip coming up pretty soon. So we're knocking out episodes left and right. Mm-hmm. We're coming back at you, giving you more content than you even knew you wanted.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this trip, though, because I'm going to be going to Chicago, and I get to see my Cubs play in Wrigley Field.
Yep.
So, I'm looking forward to it.
And hopefully they win for once.
Dude, they have the best record in the National League. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, finally. You were a fan of the Cubs back in the 90s,
early
2000s.
Yeah. When we were the lovable losers.
Saying.
Yeah.
No,
that
was
disagree.
The joke.
And honestly, we've been not that great.
Prior to, what was it, 2015? Was that when they won the World Series last
16
time?
is when they won the World 16. Series, but 15 was a good year as well.
Right.
They made it to the NLCS. So.
Because prior to that, the last time that they won, the Ottoman Empire was still a thing, right? See, I know some sports right now.
1908, so yeah.
Yeah, no, the Ottoman Empire
was still a thing.
It was still a thing.
Yep.
Oh, man. That last time they had won prior to that, I played a game that was 30 years later.
But yeah, no, so...
pre-World War II.
Looking forward to it, especially because I want to see Go Cubs Go in the stand. My wife was actually talking about it, too. She's like, I hope they win because I want to hear people singing in the stands. And I know he's mad because...
We got some shots fired from chat.
He's still mad at us because he lost the game and how he just lost it again.
Losing the game.
All right, with that being said, we have a board game breakdown for you all. Just remember, we also have a giveaway going on for one of these two games. You get to choose. We have Canvas Deluxe Edition and Horrified World of Monsters. The winner will be drawn July 1st, I think is when we'll do the drawing. And you'll hear about it in the first July episode.
Okay.
And we're also going to send you one of these two copies. You get to choose. Again, Continental USA only. Listen for a little bit later for the code word and how to enter.
That's right. So, today we're going to be talking about the Kennerspiele Des Jahres, which, again, if you don't know what that is, Germany has an award. It's basically the game of the year. Mm-hmm. And a number of years ago, they started the Kennerspiele. And what that means, roughly translated, is to the connoisseur game of the year.
Yeah, or expert.
It's not...
I know it's not expert. A lot of people consider... Yeah.
But it is definitely a more advanced game. It's more people that are involved in the industry, which makes sense.
It's the wall behind me.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I collect all the Spiel Des Jahres winners, which are the Game of the Years.
Which we talked about last year.
Yep, and Daniel collects all of the Kennerspiele. So, and they just announced the nominees. We'll talk about our predictions at the end of the episode today, so stick around for that.
We'll talk about both the Spiel and the Kennerspiele nominees.
That's right.
Not on the episode, but you'll explain which they are in our what am I looking for here? What's the word? Who we think is going to win.
Yeah, our predictions.
There we go.
So, we'll talk about that later, so stick tuned for that.
Stick tuned?
Stick tuned? Yeah, is that a Nickelodeon thing? Yeah, it is. Stay tuned for that. Stick around for that. And yeah, we'll be breaking down those. But before we do that, before all of our board game breakdowns, we talk about the news. So we're going to talk about that today.
And we have some news.
We got some news. Hope you guys like games. Why else would you be listening to us? But we have news about those games. Here we go. I'll be starting us off with the news for today's episode. My first thing of news that I want to talk about was a game that they were talking about, and this is really intriguing to me. And Gamehead Geek, a friend of ours. It's a game called Eden New World, and they're going to be doing a crowdsourcing. I don't know if it's Game Founder or Kickstarter, but the reason this is interesting, it's a miniatures game, and in this game, you can back it at a level where you'll get a physical copy of the game, or you can actually back a level where they will send you the STL 3D printing files, and if you have a 3D printer, you can print the pieces yourself. You save yourself money, save them money in manufacturing, but still throw some support to them.
Do you save yourself money? Because that...
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Yes, because the shipping alone is crazy.
Easy right now.
That's probably a kilogram, depending on how many minis there are.
Yeah.
That's probably a kilogram of plastic, which is about $20, $25 for a spool.
Okay, yeah.
That's not
insignificant, yeah.
No. And when you have the full game and you can print out your own minis, and you could do multiple of the minis, that's super neat. I find that really intriguing. I appreciate the publisher who's doing this for trying something new that's not in the industry. Normally, 10 years ago, And it's like, oh, well, you could buy a game with a bunch of minis and a bunch of cool pieces, or you can print your own if you want. You can do that. It's like, wait, why would I
do that?
Why would I do that? Right? Like that would have been seen as like not only like odd, it would be seen as like very unpleasant, right? You would get
unprofessional
kickback.
too.
Unprofessional, right? I appreciate that they're doing this. I have a 3D printer. This is a game that I might not have ever gotten before. I'm probably going to do it now because I want to support that idea. And I know the 3D printing community is not a small community, and maybe we'll get some more people in the hobby because they're releasing board games like this. So, good on them. Eat a new world. I love that idea.
Okay, speaking of minis, my first piece of news is the big one that everybody's been talking about, and I want to talk about it because I'm a big fan of these games. CMON is selling some of their no longer supported games, I guess you could say. A lot of the Eric Lang stuff that helps support them. First off, the main things they're selling is Rising Sun, Ankh, Blood Rage, Arcadia, and Starcadia Quest to Tabletop Tycoon. Those who are unfamiliar with Tabletop Tycoon, they own Starling Games. They own a couple other systems too, but Starling Games is the big one because of Everdell.
Yep.
And all the Far Shores and all the other new Everdell stuff. So it's interesting that they're selling them off. Honestly, with their money problems right now, it's smart of them, especially since they're not going to be games that they're supporting anymore. Eric Lang is no longer under their umbrella. He's doing his own thing as an independent contractor. Hopefully it helps with the cash flow but this kind of gives me a Mythic Games feels when they sold a lot of their stuff before they went under.
Yep.
And the problem is CMON bought a lot of those stuff and now they're struggling with money-wise, so hopefully this helps them. This way I can get all my stuff. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting my big Godzilla for Cthulhu Death May Die, and I'm hoping to make sure I get my DC United. After that, I'm going to be very hesitant when it comes to CMON stuff until we figure out if they're going to get stabilized. But, selling a product that you're not dealing with anymore, Ankh is done, Blood Rage is done.
That's not an uncommon thing.
Yeah, Rising Sun is done. Selling those resources off, the other one that did it recently too, that's why it's a little, I'm very hesitant. Funforge sold off all the Takedo stuff to Stonemeyer. Yeah. So it's good for the to get some income and cash flow in, hopefully to finish off some of the stuff that you're over there. So we'll see what happens there. CMON selling their games to the Tabletop Tycoon.
And Colt Cardboard brought up a good question. What exactly is CMON going to do now? They still have Zombicide.
They have Zombicide. They have all the Marvel United stuff. Yeah. They have the Cthulhu Death May Die. And a big part of what they're doing here, I think, goes into my next piece of news.
Cool. So let me go into mine then. This is the year of remakes, I think. Not only are games getting reprinted, they're getting rethemed in cool ways. And I'll talk about some of those rethemes right now. Oh yeah, you're rolling your eyes not because of the remakes, because his dog is barking right
outside that window. So if you guys hear it, we're sorry.
It happens. His dog is just saying hi. So yeah, a couple of quick card games that are going to be reprinted by Hasbro here in the United States, which is awesome. Of all
companies, too.
Yeah, the big shebang one. They're taking 3 really well-known European card games that were available in the U.S., but they're trying to make it Americanized. So the first one is 6 Nimmt, which is a clever little card game.
One of my favorite card games.
Amigo brought it to the U.S. under Take 5.
Take 5, yeah.
And they are now making it beat the heat in the American audience, which makes sense. And then we have Dump the Skunk, which is a remake of Llama, which is really well regarded in Europe. It was nominated for the Spiel Des Jahres, so that's some prominence there. And actually, I like Llama a lot. I actually played it yesterday at a restaurant. I know you don't like it. I really like it. I think it's great. And then Kabanga, which is a game that you and I both really like. Kabanga is being reprinted as Snailed It. There's also a couple more that I want to bring up real quick. Disney Villainous is getting a new game.
Hey, that's my news. I told you that.
I didn't know that. All right. Well, then, never mind. Wait, Disney Villainous?
Uh-huh.
The new game? No, the new game.
Oh, the...
Unstoppable?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm breaking news then. No, I'm
yeah.
That's not. So, Disney Villainous is making a new game called Disney Villainous Unstoppable. From Ravensburger, which I haven't looked much into it, but it looks like a totally different system of action selection. Everyone's on a communal board. It's kind of weird. But then the one I'm really excited about. This is the remake that has not been available in the U.S. yet, and I've been wanting a copy, and they're finally going to bring it to the U.S. It's going to be called Dice Pool Party. Originally in Europe, it was called Dice Cup. And this game it's kind of like a Yahtzee-esque game. You have like a few different colors of dice, 4 different colors. You shake them up in the cup, and then you reveal it just for a couple moments, and then cover it back up and choose which one you want to score based on what it rolled. And so they're going to put it in a box instead, and the box itself is going to have a little well. So you shake up the box, open up the lid, look out for a second, put it down, and then everyone has to choose something to score. Whether it's going to be like all of the 5s, all of the blue dice, whatever. I made my own custom version of this. I've been wanting to support them because I haven't found a copy in the U.S. Now I can. Dice Pool Party.
So it's interesting about that news. I'm not a fan of llama. I love the new name. Don't skunk it.
Yeah,
or dump the skunk. Yeah,
Something
so
like
it looks really neat. I understand the theming on that one. The one I don't understand, like Beat the Heat's fine. Because it's basically you don't want to take the negative marks. The one that makes it weird to me is the Kabanga thing, where it's called Snelled It. If you guys are very familiar with an older movie, it's about, I don't know, say 5 to 10 years, somewhere around there, called Turbo. I was like, shouldn't this come out like a while ago?
Right.
This is so weird out of nowhere. It literally looks like the art from the movie Turbo. Yeah. I remember taking my nephews to go see that movie. Yeah. So
that should have been what it is, right?
It really is weird to me. Get an IP on it. It's really weird, especially with Hasbro. But Kabanga is a fantastic game. I like the fact that they're bringing it into the market here.
I played that the other day, actually, and that was, man, I just really
we really dig it. In fact, my wife was telling me like what games I should take on our cruise next year. Yeah. And she recommended Kabanga.
Yeah. So you showed it to her after. Yeah, it's so fun. And then just to
there's a movie called Turbo where it's like racing snails.
That's silly. And Cult Cardboard, Liar's Dice is different because everyone has their own Liar's Dice. This is literally like a communal thing where you reveal it, everyone looks, and then close it, and then you all just have to hopefully have seen the right thing. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like a reactionary thing. It's kind of cool.
All right, so my next bit of news is kind of going to what I was talking about with Simon selling their games and trying to make themselves a little bit more profitable. Because Asmodee is in the process of starting up their buying habits again. They're just got the spinoff from Embracer. They took a lot of debt. They're actually paying off that debt and not worried about tariffs, which is weird. I read a whole article where they're like, tariffs, they're not a problem. Excuse me? Okay, whatever.
They must have some system that they're working through.
Yeah, so the CEO mentions that they're talking about doing some strategic buying of companies. Bless you. Simon is one of those that I think could be targeted for that one. Tabletop Tycoon is another one that I can see being targeted for that one. Because you've noticed the last time they did the strategic buying, companies were buying games and then ended up getting sold to Asmodee. Yep. So it makes sense what they're doing. If you've been watching them throughout the years, you look at stuff like they did with Fantasy Flights. Fantasy Flights sold off some stuff and then got bought by Asmodee. And the stuff that they did have got moved over to a company they already bought, like Atomic Mass and stuff like that. So it looks like what they were doing back in the day about 10 years ago when they were under one company and then got moved over to the Embracer group. Yeah. You look at, they got Days of Wonders under them. They got Fantasy Flights under them. They got Catan now under them as well. So I could see something like a Simon, a Tabletop Tycoon being one of those games that are getting, or companies being picked up by them.
We should see if they'll sponsor us.
That would be kind of cool. But you also got to think about the fact, too, Plaid Hat was one of the first that broke away from them after being bought out by them. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Asmodee is planning to start their buying process again.
Cool. All right, my next one was an announcement from Steve Finn, who's a designer. He just did a Kickstarter for a book of print and play games. And he sent out some digital copies. He's going to be printing a book that's going to be available on Amazon, which will be pretty cool. But he is selling off some of his original designs from his website. He's no longer going to go into publishing himself. He's not going to print his own games. He's just going to sell it to other publishers to print on their own. Unless it's something like print and play or on demand or roll and rights or something that he could sell like the books for. He's going to go into actually doing the books themselves. But one of the things that he did say, though, in that email, as he was talking about a lot of where he's going as a path, is even though he's not publishing anymore, he's still letting other publishers publish his stuff. And he brought up the fact that Devere owns Cities, which was a co-design with him and Phil Walker Harding, and that they are currently working on a game called Cities USA, which is the same general premise as Cities, except it's specifically in the United States. I'm very much looking forward to that.
There's the United States in the Cities.
There is. I don't know if this is going to be an expandalone, or if this is going to be a one on its own, but I really like it. Yeah, and Ravensburger is very much independent. They've been around for longer than any other of those companies.
For a while, yeah.
130 years or something now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Cities USA from Devere, announced by Steve Finn.
All right, so my next one was kind of hinted at by this guy over here when he's talking about Disney Villainous. There are two Villainous expansions coming out, one for Disney and one for Star Wars. They're actually coming out almost at the same time. I think Disney Villainous's new expansion comes out on the 21st of July, and the Star Wars one comes out August 1st. So first off, we got the Disney Villainous, which is called Treacherous Tides. It's got 2 characters in it, if you're a fan of Disney Villainous, which we are.
Oh, I love Disney Villainous. Have them all.
This is the first, if I can think correctly, live-action character being added to it.
Hey, Luminous.
And this one is Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean series. He's being added to it, as well as Moana's Tanatau. People know him as the Shiny Singing Crab song. But yeah, he's being added to the Villainous, so that is a double expansion. So they're going away from the 3 to the 2.
I know, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, and then the next one is the Star Wars Villainous, which is going to be named Cold Tactics. And it's adding 2 characters that I really intrigued by. Grand Admiral Thrawn. Mind you, this is the Disney Thrawn that we know from the Star Wars one. So think the Ahsoka series or the Rebels cartoon. In Count Dooku from the prequel series. Those are going to be interesting. Again, another 2-box set. I'm missing the 3-box set, but I get it. The prices are still going to be the same.
I'm glad that they're still supporting it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that matters.
The only one I haven't seen supported for a while is the Marvel one. So I think, are they done with the Marvel one? But Star Wars is getting another one. And Grand Admiral Thrawn or Disney Villainous as well. So I'm glad both of these are still getting supported.
Yep. And Illuminous, thanks for joining chat. And my last piece of news today, Open Owl Games, which I didn't remember their name off the top, but I do remember one of their main flagship titles, Mythwind. That's their big thing. Mythwind, I got a chance to see that game in action. The setup is amazing, and every player gets their own little tray. You just put it out in front of them, they open the tray, and they're pretty much set up. I love that. But anyway, regardless of that, I do want to try Mythwind. It looks awesome. They announced, and this is a little late of the news, but I stumbled upon this, in September of last year, they announced that they are working with Tempest Workshop on bringing in some titles that are coming in late 2025. Now, those of you who don't know what Tempest Workshop is, yeah, we're excited because they were originally Funko Games.
Or Prospero Hall.
Or Prospero Hall, or Force President Creative before that, or they're big in the industry. They use IPs and they make amazing games. I stand by their design process. What they make is awesome. And the fact that they are now finally coming in, and I was actually looking in.
Speaking of which, one of our games in the giveaway was originally created by Prospero Hall.
Yeah, exactly. And and Disney Villainous was by Prospero Hall. So I mean, we obviously like the games, right? And so the fact that they announced that they were finally working with a publishing team, bringing in some projects that were slated for late 2025. That's very exciting. Now, we don't know about if the tariffs or if anything else is going to affect this process. Time will tell, but very excited about that news.
Oh, yeah. All right, my last bit of news is going to be a big one for Elizabeth Hardgrave. If you're, I'm a fan of her games. I've liked a lot of the games that she's done. I like Mariposas. I love Wingspan, of course.
We're going to be talking about one later.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about a little bit one. Not a little bit one. It's a big one. The only one I haven't really played is Tussie Mussy. I need to get that one played.
Even I have. Yeah.
Mariposas was another one I really enjoyed. Fox Experiment was another good one. I have one that's on my pile of shame that I need to get played, Undergrowth.
Yep.
But she is going to get a special award at Gen Con this year. So if you're there, go and check it out. I've loved what she's been doing. One of the big things I like that she's done is she's done because she's always like, oh, what are all the women designers out there and stuff like that. She curated a forum. on Board Game Geek for you to go check out where all the women designers are, whether they're co-designs or primary designs.
Which we've been finding a lot of female designed games lately that have been awesome. Caution Signs is like your champion game right now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan
Danielle
of that
Reynolds, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Co-designed with, I think, Scott Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many
I love
good
that
ones.
game. Well, she's getting a special award, like I said, Elizabeth Hardgrave, but she's also got a new game coming out from a company that I wasn't expecting, who are really are owned by Hasbro, if I remember correctly. They are the hobby branch of Hasbro. This is Avalon Hill. Their new game that she's coming out is called Sanibel, and it's about collecting seashells on the beach out of that location in Florida. And it's really neat how this one's going to work, because you're collecting the seashells and you're dropping them in your bag, which is your own personal player board, and they go into your thing and they drop like Tetris pieces as you're going down. So you're trying to be as deliberate on how you drop them in there, because you want them to go a certain way, because you're going to score based on your collection as well as how much you fit in your bag. And so it's really neat how this is supposed to work. There's a whole video of it, I believe, on Board Game Geek, and you can also see it, I think, on YouTube, where they're announcing it. It looks like it's going to be really good. I don't think it's going to be super inexpensive. If I remember correctly, I think Avalon Hill did Life in Reterra.
Yep.
So
that's Hasbro. But
but they're branched by Avalon Hill. So if you want to go check it out, there is those videos. But they're really pushing Avalon Hill to be their hobby game branch, and I like that aspect of it. So good for them. I'm surprised that the games that you talked about weren't going in the Avalon Hill, but then again, those are what you want for mass market games. Cabanga's very simple.
And those card games could be mass market.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Hardgrave getting a special award at Gen Con and a new game. What a wonderful time of year for her right now.
All right, so let's get into today's episode. But before we do, we have a giveaway that we need to tell you guys about. We're very excited about this giveaway because there is 2 different games, one of which will be going to you, and you will have your choice. It'll be awesome. So let's talk about how we're going to enter this contest. Would you like to tell them how?
There's different ways to do it. First off, if you follow us on Twitch, that gives you a ticket to enter, as well as if you subscribe to us. We know this is a money thing, so you don't have to. Just following us helps us out a lot. But if you do, that gives you 3 additional tickets because you're spending money on us. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel and get a ticket from following us there or subscribing. That's what it is over on YouTube. If you go to our Instagram, instagram.com/@everydayboardgames, you can subscribe to us there, and that will give you a coupon. And the biggest one, this can give you 4 additional tickets. I keep saying coupon for some reason. 4 additional tickets. You got to listen to the code word that we've given you. We've already given 2 code words for 2 past episodes. This is the 3rd one for you. That tells you there's this one and one more after this. The code word is
Blue Ribbon.
And the way you enter this one is you email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. You put in the subject line contest. You put in the code word in the body, as well as how to get in touch with you. And again, we have to reiterate, this is continental USA only. Right now, we can't afford to ship elsewhere. That includes Alaska, Hawaii, Canada, and the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's just a little too expensive for us. But again, you'll have your choice if you're the winner to get either Canvas, the deluxe edition, or Horrified World of Monsters. All right, let's get into today's episode. With that being said, we're breaking down, Board Game Breakdown, our Kennerspiele Des Jahres winners from the beginning.
And we've done this before with the Spiel Des Jahres last year. So now we decided, you know what? We should do the Kennerspiele. There has been 11 to 24, so what, 13 winners?
Yeah, something like that.
And then we're also going to be talking about the 3 nominees from this year, as well as not on the list here, but we're going to also talk about the 3 nominees for the Spiel des Jahres.
For 2025.
For 2025, and give you our predictions of who we think is going to win.
Yep.
All right, so starting with probably one of our least favorites of the Kennerspiele winners, and officially the first Kennerspiele winner.
And anybody who's in chat today, like Cult Cardboard, Board Game Bard, Illuminous, chat with us. Let us know what your thoughts on these games as we go through them. So, first one that we're going to break down is Seven Wonders, which, I mean, hit the ground running when it came out. I get why they didn't include this in the Spiel des Jahres, and I think this is one of the reasons why they developed the Kennerspiele Des Jahres, which, again, if you didn't hear it at the beginning of the episode, that's like the connoisseur game of the year. And so, Seven Wonders, 3 rounds of drafting. You have a set of cards, you're building up your wonders. You can play up to 7 players. Technically 2 to 7. Really, it's 3 to 7. And,
the second edition doesn't even have the 2 player anymore.
It's technically 3 to 7 now. And, yeah, you're just picking past drafting. You're building up your resources, building up the money, the engine building, and trying to build up your wonders. Most points at the end of 3 rounds wins.
Don't get me wrong. I don't hate this game. It's fine for what it does. It's my least favorite of the Kennerspiel winners, but I get why it won. It did really good on the pick and pass drafting. It has a really neat theme to it. The 2-player version for this game is not that great. The fact that they took it out in the second edition and made a whole other game for it makes a lot of sense. Because you had a dummy player, and we're not fans of dummy players. It does what it does. The art is fantastic in this game. It's probably one of the prettiest games, especially for its time. 2011. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. It is one of my least favorites, but I do own it. I do have a copy of it, and I do enjoy it.
And all of the spin-offs of it, Seven Wonders Duel was fantastic. Seven Wonders Architects was great if you like. I mean,
the
if you
dice
specifically
game is
like
looking
the
cool.
simple one. The dice game looks cool. They just announced that, and then Lord of the Rings Duel
for Middle-earth.
Duel for Middle-earth was based off of Seven Wonders Duel. So that there's a lot of prominence there. So, Luminous doesn't like Architect. I like it because I love the streamlined nature of it.
It's so simple. That's why we like it so much. But this one, again, we reiterate, you're picking past drafting. You're either getting yourself resources or you're using that card to help build your wonder based on the resources you already have or resources that you can buy from your neighbor.
Exactly.
Really simple game in a sense. Like I said, it shouldn't have been a Spiel des Jahres nominee. I get why it's the Kennerspiel. And it's not a gateway game. I'm sorry, folks. It is not a gateway game. Architects is a gateway game.
Don't you call it a gateway. I swear. If you call it a gateway... No.
All right, the next game on our list...
we should be bouncing back and forth.
Oh, no, this is me, so you already started, so...
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Village. Now, I have the big box version of this with the better artwork over here by Spiel.
Yeah, let's show that off a little bit. Here you go.
Yeah, so it looks pretty good. People can't really see it because they're in the little small screen over here. Yep. But this is an Ink and Marcus Brand game. They're a 2-time winner. We're going to be talking about another one there's a little bit later. So, what did I do? I messed up here, but going down over here. This one's very simple. It's a worker placement game, but it has a twist to it because your workers will age and eventually you're filling up a graveyard. And by filling up a graveyard... that is the in-game trigger, and we've only played the base game. I like what this does, and I'll get a picture here. But you could send your workers to become the blacksmith, and it gives you some sort of resource. Here's the graveyard, and here's your title blade here. But you're also telling a family story, and you're setting up on here as well.
A title blade?
Sorry. You're distracting me, but you're setting up here. You're getting a story being driven by your family. They're aging. You got you see the little numbers right here. That is your generation for family and stuff like that. They're aging as they're going out. You're either trying to put them over here, basically building up your lore, or if you don't have a spot in here to place them, they go in the graveyard, which is the time. Highest score wins. I like what it does. So you have the become workers right here that do certain specific jobs like blacksmith or farrier or stuff like that. You have them where you can send to the village and buy yourself stuff. You have a traveler who goes into different little things and gives you like an area control aspect of this game. Or you could send them up the nobility track, which is kind of neat too, or getting different resources by going to the well. Really neat what it does. I like the fact that it's worker placement, but again, this is not one of my favorites. We're coming up to one of my favorites, though, and I get to talk about it because I'm looking at it.
Yep. Yeah, no, the Village was cool. Out of all of them that we've played, I remember the least about that, even though I have played it, so there's ironically enough. All right, the next one I want to talk about was Legends of Andor. Or the next one I wanted to talk
about.
The 2013 winner, Legends of Andor. And this is by Michael Menzel, and he did both the art and the game design. This is kind of like a fantasy adventure game, except it's very puzzly.
It's very neat how that puzzle works.
Yeah, the puzzle works really well, and it has one of the best tutorial systems in a board game I've ever seen. Legends of Andor has...
Is this the main board?
No, that's not.
I was going to say.
That's I think that's
right?
the backside.
Oh, okay.
But you have a series of book cards, and on different rounds, this was a Kennerspiel, and as you're going through, you're questing through the areas, it'll give you books, and different things will occur on the game map, in which you just have to try and solve the problem. In the original scenario, the tutorial one, you're essentially just trying to get to a specific location while getting around the people. There are monsters that spawn on the board, and you can fight them if you want to help put them away, but otherwise they're going to keep following you and tracking you, which could be really unpleasant. But it's not required to beat them. You also have a cool punch-out like dragon there. It's super fun. I have a couple expansions. I haven't gotten them to the table, and there's so much content for this.
I think this is going to be one of my picks this week, other than the two for sure that I'm going to get.
I want to get this back to the table. I'm really excited to play it again. It's been because
I know it's on Damn It Dom's Shelf of Shame, and it's been a while since I played it, so I want to get it to the table.
If you did, would we play the tutorial version?
Oh yeah, just for Damn It Dom. It's been a while since I played it, so I need to do the tutorial.
Same here. But I remember all the pieces are just really great, and it's cardboard standees, and it looks good. And I like his art a lot. So, Legends of Andor, the 2013 winner.
All right, moving on to the 2014 winner, and one of my favorite Kennerspiel winners. What Rudiger Dorn did with this game is so interesting. So much so that Gamehead Geek played this, and he's like, damn it, and went out and bought himself a copy.
Yep.
And this is Istanbul from, again, Rudiger Dorn and Pegasus Spiel. I adore this game. It is pick up and deliver in a way, and it's a race game in a way, but it does something so different that you don't expect. Because what you're doing is you have a stack of your family members, and you're laying them out in a certain way. So wherever you finish your turn is where you're going to take that activity, or by going back to a spot and picking up a family member. And it's very intriguing how that works, because you're just like, oh man, how do I puzzle this to get from this side of the board to that side of the board without not having enough family members, because I have to make sure I can pick up family members before I can keep moving along that track. And you have to make a smart path. I love the fact that you can modular the board game aspect of it by changing up the sides. It has a base game where you can just play how it tells you to do 1 here, 2 there, 3 there. Or you can just randomize it and then do it. Yeah. And it's the first to a certain amount of rubies, diamonds, whatever. It's one of the jewels. You see, it's this little crystals, like the first two.
Normally 5 or 6.
A certain number, depending on the player count. That's the main thing, is depending on the player count. And you're doing all this. There's different ways you could do it, like gambling. It was a fun one. Or turning in resources for a gym. Contract fulfillment. Or just paying outright money to buy a gym. Yep. It is really neat how it works. And then you also have like the criminal family member that could do certain things, and you have to get them out of jail for you to do certain things. Yep. And then it has 2 expansions, if I remember. Yep. The post office, and I can't remember what the other one is. But it's really neat what it works. I adore this game. This is the game that really put Rudiger Dorn on our map. So we both really dug it. We played it at 2 players and really dug it. Yep. And then we played it again at 4 players, and it was like, wow, this still plays really well, no matter what the player count is. Yep. So Istanbul, one of my favorite Kennerspiel winners.
Camelot Family Edition, yeah. Something like that, except with prisoners. All right, Broom Service is our 2015 winner. Now, Broom Service is a pick up and deliver with a really clever card mechanism. And the way it works is that you have cards that give a benefit, and there's some cards that do a much better version of that benefit. And the way it works is that if you play the card for its
and you want to hope you're the only one that...
if you play it for its benefit side, then you would get whatever award there is, and that's the easy part of it. It's like, so I might move, or I might pick up something, or whatever. However, if I play a card for its better benefit, I don't activate it yet, because if somebody after me plays it for the better part of it, then they actually get that action. Mm-hmm. And it's a fun give and take.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
It shouldn't work that well. So you can see how the cards are laid out in 2 different ways, right?
This is the small one, and this is the bigger benefit down here.
So that one you would get either a single purple potion, or you get 2 purple potions and a wild potion. super good deal. But again, only the person who plays that card last will get that benefit, and that might not help you, right? You know, that playing that card might not be in like a good situation for you at the time. So you have to pick and choose your battles when you're going to play it for its good side. If Daniel's going first, then there's a very good chance he's probably not going to get the good benefit from it, whereas I might be able to if I'm going last. I'm not making it sound as cool as it is, but it feels really neat, clever when you're playing it.
This is the second game we're going to play Wednesday.
Oh, I'm looking forward to
that.
So
the first game is coming up, what you're going to do.
Yep.
Which is also neat about this game is this is the back-to-back win for these designers. This is the start of it, and the next game we're going to talk about also was a win for them, the Kennerspiele. So Andreas Pelikan and Alexander Pfister won the Kennerspiele in 2015 for this game, and in 2016 for this game.
So, Isle of Skye. Didn't I just do the last one, Room Service?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but for this game. And the thing with Isle of Skye, this is the one I have not played yet, so that's why I was going to let you do it.
So this is essentially Carcassonne Plus, right? This game is a tile-laying game, a la Carcassonne style, which is why I'm comparing it to. But you have either rivers, landscapes, roads, mountains, or, and different animals and coins along the path. What you're ultimately trying to do is there are certain tiles that are up here that have like banners on them, and those are essentially like contracts that you want to fulfill. So you want to get points by connecting certain parts of that to that spot. And by having that on the board, you're building your own board in front of you on like a communal board for that, and you're trying to complete as many of those contracts as you can by the end of the game. What makes it really cool, though, is that everyone will get their tiles and set the pricing for them beforehand. And the reason they do that is because you reveal it, and it's kind of like almost an auction. One player will look at another player's tiles and think, okay, well, if I want to buy these, is it worth me paying that player who's set 3 coins on this? Is it worth me paying 3 coins for them to keep it? And if it is, then I pay them 3 coins and I take that, which is money that they can use to buy other tiles too, if they didn't already have some. Or if they don't choose to buy it, nobody chooses to buy it for 3 coins, well then the player who set that price has to pay that price for it. So it's kind of like a price setting. That auction is a really clever auction system, but some tiles might just be really worth your time to do that for. So yeah, I'm excited to play this.
Yeah, it's going to be the first game we play that night, because it's the only one of the Kennerspieles I have not played.
Oh, you're going to learn how to play it?
Yep.
Okay, cool, because I don't remember it functionally. As
I've already started learning that in Broom Service. I started learning. So
I'm so glad you did that.
All right, so the next game on the list is the second win for the Brands again, the Inc. and Marcus Brands. And I just picked one game. This was basically a set, basically 3 games that won it. The first three. And this is Exit the Game. So if you're all familiar with escape rooms in a box, this is one that really started the escape rooms in the box experience. The one I picked was my favorite of the original 3, Exit the Game of the Abandoned Cabin. This is the one I remember the most. You're the actual one that showed it to me when we played it as a group, and we had a blast with it. Your buddy, or our buddy, who works the business with you, really was intrigued by how this worked as well, because you guys run an escape room out of a box system, and then you go out and show it to people. Both of your big escape room guys, when you played this one, we were just like, okay, I love the puzzles of what this is doing in here. And it spawned a whole series of games. You got the Unlock series. You got the one you talked about in the last episode, the Alcatraz one that you...
was not the biggest fan of.
But there was a bunch of these escape room games. And so this one's kind of hard to talk about because it's a deduction style game. You're basically given puzzles and you have to solve those puzzles to move on in the game. And I don't want to show too many spoilers. I'll show this one basically.
Yeah, this is basically the key.
So this is the key. This is how you trigger if you got something right or wrong. And it tells you on the back of it that if you got something right or wrong. I love everything about this game. The only problem with this, with like the Unlocked series, Illuminus doesn't like Unlocked, but is that you can play the game and send it to someone else. This one is a one-time only play because you're going to be destroying components. However, there is a series now that they've been doing with these where they add puzzles to it. Like you literally are building puzzles. I really dug that.
Have you done the advent calendar for these yet?
Yes, I have. I did the second advent calendar, and I had a real. I like it. It's just hard to do the puzzles every day like you're supposed to the point where I had to finish my advent calendar by myself because my wife was just done with it. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll finish this off. It was really neat. These, though, however, are fun. I have one that's sitting right up there that I need to get played. It's the Sherlock Holmes one. So Exit is by far one of my favorite of the sets.
All right, next one. This is probably, if not one of my favorite, probably my favorite of the Kennerspiele Des Jahres winners.
Don't mind that artwork. That's not the good one.
Yeah, the original art by Dennis Lohausen has a much more traditional cover. This is the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Give me back my artwork. Yeah, that's the original cover. The new version here in the United States brought by CMYK. They're calling it Quacks, and it has slightly different art. But regardless, the game itself, Wolfgang Warsch, he's the designer of this, and you have a number of different tokens that you're going to be loading into a bag. Some you'll start with, some you'll be buying and adding to it. Each one of them has a different mechanism. But what you're trying to do ultimately is pull the tokens out of your bag and put them along the spiraling track. The farther you go, the more victory points you're going to score, the more resources you're potentially going to get, like in order to buy more tokens, and getting gems, which is a bonus as well. However, there is a press your luck aspect to it. If you have little cherry bomb tokens, which are white tokens, and if they ever exceed 7, well, then you go poof, and you go boom, and
the potion blows up in your face.
The potion blows up in your face because you mixed up the wrong components. So that doesn't mean you're out of the round, though. It's actually kind of easy. It just tells you, oh, okay, well, you stop pulling tokens there no matter what, and you could either score the points or get the tokens to buy the new resources, which is pretty cool.
It hampers you, but it's not a horrible hamper.
Right. And there's also a full event deck that affects every player at the end or at the beginning of every round, and that's some cool little variation. There's ways to kind of mitigate some of those tokens, and the abilities that all the tokens have are all really different, and the base game comes with 4 different abilities per token. So it's awesome. Cover. There is so much going on in this game. There's so much variability, but functionally, it's a really quick, simultaneous play game that works really well. A little press your luck thing. I really like this game.
It's one of my favorites. It's up there. I think I like Istanbul a little bit more, and my favorite one is coming up.
Really good.
My favorite is coming up. And again, it's because of the theme. I love the theme on this one. The game that put Elizabeth Hargrave on the map, and deservedly so, because this is a fantastic game. This is Wingspan. And this one, it's just basically an engine builder. This is the thing that most people don't care about this game, is just because the luck of the dice if you don't get the specific food that you need. Even though there is a way to mitigate it, because you can spend 2 food to equal 1, but that's not a efficient process to be doing. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect a bunch of the birds to build out your tableau, and they all have different abilities. Some will have white powers, which automatically happen when you play them. You have brown powers that activate every time you go down that specific track. In the newer sets, expansions, you have purple powers, which is the end of the round, yellow powers, which is end of the game. They all do different tricks, or aspects of them. They all have different abilities. Plus, you also have in-game goals based on these gold cards that basically say, hey, if the birds are facing the left or facing the right. You play over a set of 4 rounds. You have decreasing actions as you're going through. I think you start with 8 to begin with, or 7. And then in the next round, you have 6, 7, or 5. And you keep decreasing because you're also going to be scoring at the end of the round. Has a very robust Otama system, so you can play it solo. It's actually really neat. It's a setup for the Otama. I have basically everything for this game. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I enjoy the mess out of it. The artwork is fantastic. If you don't want to deal with like the setup and stuff like that, there is video game versions of this that you can get on the Switch or you can get on Steam that are really, really good as well. There's upgraded components you can get off Board Game Geek Store that are really nice. Here's the tableau. So anytime there's a card, you get to start your tableau on a second spot. Now this one lets me have 2 eggs. If this was a brown power, it would activate, and then we're done. Very simple actions with a lot going on. Again, I have to reiterate, we said the same thing with Seven Wonders. I don't know why people are calling this a gateway game. It is not a gateway game. Even though it has brought a lot of new people to the hobby. Yep. This is one of the best-selling games of all time since this came out. So that is impressive. Wingspan.
All right, going on to the complete opposite of a game. This is called The Crew. And this is a trick-taking-esque game.
Well, no, it's trick-taking. Not esque. It's trick-taking.
A trick-taking game. Sir. For 2 to 5 players. And the idea of it's you have up to 50 scenarios that are in the game. And you're trying to play the tricks in a way where you complete certain missions. The missions can have all different combinations of things, like requiring certain players to get to win certain cards, to get a certain number of people to score certain cards. It's a really simple system. It works really well, but it's really clean how it works. So, for example, one of the missions might be where I need to score 3 tricks and I can't score a green card. Right? That would probably be like later on, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a very delicate balance because you can't talk about what you have in your hand. There is some tokens where you can reveal some of your stuff just to help people out and say, oh, this is what I have. But
this is the highest or lowest. That's
this is the highest or lowest, right? And that might help us out because then that's either the least likely or most likely to win a trick. Sounds like it wouldn't give you that much information, but it totally does. So in this example, they put down the 6, right? Which is a blue or a purple 6. I can't tell from this angle.
But it's also telling them this is the only card he has of that color.
Yeah, the only card of that. So that's the only blue or purple one that I have of this color. Understand that because if you follow in suit and you play a blue card, I might have to play that.
Because you have to follow trick-taking rules. If you can play in suit, you have to play in suit.
Yep. So this is the first trick-taking game that really had those scenarios and had it be where it's cooperative, which is really a surprising idea. It works really well. I'm not personally the biggest fan of it. I like it. And I do own this and the Deep Sea version, and they're fun games. I just don't play them that often.
I want to get it more to the table. I do enjoy it. I have to play Mission Deep Sea. That's the one I heard that really fixes a lot.
Yep.
But I've been really loving the Lord of the Rings co-op trick-taking game.
Which I'm sure was inspired by it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. This was the 2020 winner, The Crew.
All right, moving on to the next one here. And this is a game that you and me both love. This is
Very
Paleo.
Much. We need to play this one.
I know, we do. I've only played the first scenario. I haven't really dug into the rest of the campaigns.
I played the first 2.
I really do enjoy this one. Hansim Gluck, I think, is the ones that got printed this one here in America. Fantastic game. It is another co-op game here where you're basically trying to meet a certain amount of goals. Basically surviving the Paleolithic area. And so the way you do it is you're trying to push your luck and delve through certain card decks, but you kind of have a hint what could be coming up on you. And you're got to make sure you don't hit any of these negative spots, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played this one. But you're trying to get resources, because if you build those resources, you can get weapons that give you enough resources to help you build, like spears or bows and stuff like that. You need to do this before you run out a certain amount of time and lose a certain amount of family members, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, I mean, basically it's little skull tokens, right?
Yeah.
You have to get the full cave painting before you get 5 skull tokens.
Yeah. And so the way you do that, you have to trigger certain expectations based on what the game is playing. Like I said, I've only played the first scenario a couple times. I need to get this to the table again.
Yeah.
I really dug what this does. In fact, it was... this was the game that made me really wanted to start collecting the Kennerspiels, because at this point I played Istanbul, I played Wingspan, I played The Crew, and this one is like, I really do enjoy what this is doing.
Yep.
And so that's when I decided to go back and fill in my backlog. The last game I ended up picking up was the first winner with Seven Wonders. Yep. So the next game, I talked about it on the last episode because I just recently played it and enjoyed it. So here you go.
So Living Forest, this is a deck building game, and you're trying to play out your deck of cards.
Push your luck, which is weird.
Deck building, push your luck, right? And you basically have 4 different types of actions that you can play. So you're playing out your cards and pushing possibly a little bit more. If you get too many of the bad cards, then you bust and you only take one of your actions. This is the bad symbol
right here.
Yep. Otherwise, there's some good symbols that actually negate those, which is even better.
This one right here.
Yep. And so you're just trying to get the most points at the end of it, and there's multiple ways to get points. Each of those 4 actions, which have like they're basically the elements, right? You have leaves, you have water, you have the swirly doodad. I don't really know how to describe them, but those are basically the different types of actions you could take, and you're either building up your forest that's in front of you with different greenery. You're trying to get just the most single-handed points from the cards themselves. You're trying to find a way to buy more cards that are valuable
because they're worth points.
Because they're worth points at the end. And yeah, it's just it's a really clever feeling game. It plays very fast, and the art is absolutely lovely.
And there's 4 triggers to in-game. Basically, is the first person to hit a certain amount of points, a certain person to pay out like different trees in their grid here, have enough of the fire tokens, and it doesn't matter about the number. It's just how many fire tokens you need. A certain number. I think it's 12, if I remember correctly. And I'm trying to remember what the third one is.
I don't remember. Filling in your tree.
That's the tree board. There's the... Oh, no, those are the 3. Those are the 3.
They're getting a full set of like 12 of a single...
It's the 12 points. Yeah. It's the trees or the fire tokens.
Yes.
And the reason being is it's really neat. 12 different trees, 12 sacred flowers, or 12 fires removed. Yep. And the way you do that is you get to trigger those by those actions, but you also have to have a victory tile that says you can score that victory. Whether it's yours or somebody else's is what it matters. Because there's a point when we were playing it that we were stealing the different things. It's like, no, he's about to get that. He's got Dom's. I'm going to steal Dom's piece away from him, and then hopefully Dom passes him and steals that away from him as well. And now he can't score the fire tokens. Nope. And so it's really neat how that works. I love everything about that one.
Yep. Very clever game.
So the next game on our list here is Challengers, and I'm in 2 minds with this one. I think there was a better game, and that's a whole other episode in itself. I think there was a better game in this line. I think this wasn't an advanced game by any means, but it is still a fun game, and I do own it because I collect the Kennerspiels, and I do enjoy playing it. This is a capture the flag, deck building, war game. So if you remember the old card game War, is like whoever played the higher card wins. This actually put a game on that system, War.
Is this deck build? I mean, yeah, you're adding cards to your deck, but you're not making the choice of that.
It says deck construction, I guess, is what
deck construction. Sure, okay.
Well, no, it's under deck bag and pull building. So hey, that's what they're tagging it as well.
Yeah, because I think you actually have a choice of a few different ones.
And the way it works is you're playing it as a group. If you're playing at 2 players, it's a head-to-head. If you're playing at 4 players, it's basically tournament style. Yeah. I beat you, then I have to go on and face Gamehead Geek in the next round because he beat Dammit Dom. Yeah. So it's really interesting how it goes, and you're getting trophies how you're playing it. There's a little push and pull aspect. There's different sets in there that you can combine different sets, and it works well. So if I'm playing with these sets over here and you guys are playing with those sets over there, then we're changing it out as we're going. It's really neat how it works. You got to be careful too because you have a line here. If I can find that board real quick. You can only have so many on the bench, and so but if you play the cards of the same type, they could just stack each other on the bench, and so you don't want to run out of your bench because that's one way to trigger the end game or for that round. But you're also trying to beat your opponent and win the flag in a sense. It's capture the flag, the board game. And so you have different sets here. So this is the A set, and then you move on to the B set, and you play on to the C set until someone claims all the flag as you're going through. It's fun. There is a second one. It's Challengers Beach Cup, I think it is, that they integrate really well. I like what it does. It's a really neat game. I just don't know if it should have won the Kenner, especially because there was other games that were nominated at that time.
Sure.
But again, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, that it's gotten a lot of pushback because of it. But because of that, I think that's part of the reason why this one won last year. And this is Daybreak. So Daybreak is a much heavier game. It's almost a 3 out of 5. 2.84 as far as the weight, which, that's people rating it. But this is basically a cooperative game where you're trying to, decarbonize the planet, right? And trying to build up, kind of like a net zero process, right? You're trying to get rid of pollutants. You're trying to build up an engine where it's getting rid of a lot of, those...
Working together to do it, too.
Yeah, working together to get those hazards. I think it's a lovely theme. I know some people disagree with it, but whatever. It's a lovely theme. I like the artwork a lot on it. My only issue that I had when we played it is that it's very loosey-goosey about like when you do stuff.
What turn order and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, like, you could take your turn, or I could take my turn, or I could do part of my turn, and then you could do your turn, and then I could do this later, and then you could do that. And it's cooperative in that aspect.
I'm going to have this tag out, so you should wait till I do my turn, because I got to play this card. But now do I want to play this card as this ability, and that's going to be my top card.
But if I do this, then you can play an extra card, and that might be worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so one of the cool things is that you play these cards, and when you play them, you can put them either above or below your piles, and kind of activate them in different ways. Having certain things like charge up other cards will get better abilities for it. So it's a cool game. This is one that I was talking in last week's episode. I liked it, but it was kind of a letdown. I thought it was going to be better than what I found out it was. I didn't dislike it. Great components, beautiful art. But I want to try it again just to see if my suspicions are true.
And my feeling of this one is it's one of my least favorites. Not my least favorite, because we've already discussed that one at the very top of the episode.
Yep.
I don't hate Seven Wonders. I do like it. This one is just slightly above Seven Wonders for me as of right now, just because it feels a little bit more convoluted than it should really be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daybreak is still fantastic, and the artwork is gorgeous on this game. That is a striking cover.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, now that we're done with the most recent winner, we're going to start talking about the 3 nominations for the Kennerspiele this year, starting with Endeavor Deep Sea. Now, this is the only one I haven't played yet.
Same.
It looks really cool. There's a lot of iconography that you have to remember, and I was thinking about getting this played on Wednesday for our game group, but then I saw the time. It's 30 minutes per player, and for a new game, if we have 4 players, that's 2 hours. I can get 3 or 4 Kennerspieles played.
That's if we get it that quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it looks really cool. It looks really neat. This one, you are independent research institutes. It's the most points wins in a game. That allows you to do different things as you're playing. You're either growing up on your track here to get special abilities. You're using your divers to give you some of that sort of stuff. You're exploring the sea. You can go deeper and deeper as you're going down. So you're building up the board. So it's going to change every different gameplay. The iconography is straightforward, but it's also a lot. So I'll just look at all this stuff here.
It's all icons.
So for our audio listeners, there's nothing but icons, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different icons on one little card or tablet or whatever it is that you would have to learn. And it doesn't look horrible. It looks like a fun game, and I could see this winning. Because if they're going back after everything with challengers and want something that's a little bit more heavier, the expert, when people are saying, instead of the connoisseur, this probably would win it. I don't think it's going to be the winner. It looks really cool, and it takes an older game. I think it's called Endeavor Cell, or
no, it's just Endeavor.
Was it just Endeavor or Age of Cell? That's the other one. Endeavor Age of Cell, and it takes it into a modern era because Age of Cell was during the colonization era, the pirates era, and stuff like that. This one is more exploring the deep sea. The theme is really neat. The production value just on the base game is really good. But I don't know if it's going to win the Kenner. Like I can see, if they're going to go for the heavier game, this is going to win the Kenner. But I doubt it's going to be that one. Right. I know what my pick is.
All right. We'll talk about our guesses here in a bit. The next one is Loot. This was our New Land, as they said it there, but Loot spelled with one too many O's here. This is kind of like an engine building. You're placing your workers out on a communal board, and as you're placing your workers out, they have to be adjacent to any other worker that's there.
Not just yours, any other.
Yeah, exactly. The spot that you place it on will get you some kind of token that you place on your board. Go and carry over. I'm about to sneeze.
So when you're going to place it on that board, you're going to get the resource from it. And then there's also something else that can happen. It can give you one of the building types that are out there, depending on what you're connecting to and by their capture aspect of it. So either you're going to capture a castle by having 4 unbroken members touching that castle or a line of that, or you're going to capture a watchtower, or 2 watchtowers in this case, because you have an unbroken line that leads to both the watchtowers. So you get both of those if they're there. Or you can capture a housing or a community, I guess you can say, and you capture it by just placing a meeple next to it, and then that's yours. And you're placing it on your board because your personal board is going to be how you score. And the way that works is you're going to have these different symbols here that tells you how you're going to score them. This one specifically that I'm pointing to is showing that you need to have a watchtower, 2 houses, and an axe touching that building for it to score for you. This one is showing that this building has already been scored over here. But that one, basically, this is the easier one. That needed probably a house, axe, and a gold to touch it. And that's how they scored that. Yep. Then you're also going to capture the different buildings. Those buildings will give you points once you meet their requirements. Which is really neat. Or not points. You can also draft a ship, and the ship is what's going to give you those points. And so you see here, I don't see a ship on their board over here that isn't flipped, but they will give you bonus scoring. So for every tree that's on your board, this is going to give you an additional point. Because at the end of the game, this bottom section here is going to give you those scoring. You're going to get 2 for every gold. If you have extra gold on here, that's going to add to it. 2 times whatever gold you have on the board. Yep. Sheep is going to give you 1 point. Trees are going to give you 1 point. Because this is flipped over, this is going to give them an additional point for trees. Then you also score 4 per building or for a castle. If you have something that gives you bonuses, you're going to add that to it. As well as you're just going to score the straight points if you ever finish the buildings that are on your map. And so it is really neat how this works. After playing it, this one really surprised me. Yeah. And it was funny because I told you I bought this one in Endeavor Deep Sea at the same time. Because I had this in my hand while I was in Denver, and I bought something else, and I'm like, man, I should have just picked it up because it was the week before they announced the Kennerspiele. I'm like, I had it in my hand. I could have picked it up then.
You thought about it.
And it was what I was like reading the back of it. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. It's a very straightforward game. It's simple with a lot of good choices.
Yep, exactly. And the last one is Far Away. Thank you for covering for me. Far Away is a weird. It's a weird theme.
It's tricky.
I love the artwork, but essentially you're going on a journey, right? You're meeting all these people, and you're
going on an adventure.
And you're going on an adventure, and each card scores in a different way. And you're going to be scoring it backwards for everything that you've seen in there. So basically, you're going to draft a total of 10 cards, which might give you extra cards on top of that. And then you flip them all face down, and you go one by one, showing if all of the symbols that are required for it have scored. Anything that does score, you will score, and you just keep track of all 10 of your cards. Most points at the end of the game wins. There's a lot more going on to it, too. Like, for example, this one right here, the 58. That you need 3 of those little like deer heads or antlers or whatever.
They have to be this way, not this way.
Right, exactly. They have to have been previously placed, or no, they have to be on the right side. They have to have been placed afterward.
Oh, okay.
Because since you're flipping them over the other way, which is kind of weird, but you get points for every one of those that you see after that point. Mm-hmm. So the stuff earlier on is easier to score because it's more likely that you'll have it. But the stuff later on will be harder to score, but then that you already know that going into, you're trying to draft some of the stuff that will complete the stuff previously made, right? And that's pretty cool. And also the system, since everything is numbered, like 1 to 60 or whatever in the base game, it says 65 on here, but 1 to 60 I think in the base game, the number of card that you play will be the order that you take the next card from the next round. Super clever.
Yeah, I really do enjoy this one. This is another one I'm going to try to get to the table this weekend or this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really do enjoy what it does. I just need to play it some more. You can also draft these little mini cards up here as well, which can help you with your scoring as well. And they're always with you. So that's what's really neat because they also give you certain tags. But I can't remember the requirement to get these, but you can draft them as well.
My head. I know it's not like a separate draft. It's like you take it if something happens.
Something triggers, yeah. And it's really neat how it works. I like what this game is doing.
Yeah.
With that being said, those are the 3 nominees from the Kennerspiele. We've talked about all the Kennerspieles. Before we get going into our predictions,
it's if you've played a higher number than your previous number.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right. So, with that being said, what are the 3 nominees for the Spiel des Jahres this year?
Okay, so there's Far Away.
No, that's the Kenner.
Oh, Kenner. Oh, the Spiel des Jahres. There's Flip 7.
Mm-hmm.
There is... Oracle or Crackle or
Rackle.
Rackle. And there is one other that is I am neglecting to remember.
It's Flip 7.
Just click that. We'll find out. Let's just find it real quick. Crackle or Rackle, Flip 7, and I own the other game. I just don't remember what it is.
The nominations are not on this list.
Oh man.
Here, we'll go here.
Yep. Let's go to the actual website.
Yeah, there you go. Bomb Busters.
That's what it is. Okay, so we're not going to go into the full details of what they are. Flip 7 is a quick press your luck game, trying to get to 200 points. Bomb Busters is a cooperative deduction game, trying to play out your fuses. Crackle Rackle is a party game where you're following dotted lines to do pictures, but you have to restrict yourself to those lines.
All right, what's your pick for the Spiel Des Jahres winner?
Bomb Busters.
Same.
Yeah.
I haven't even played Bomb Busters yet, but it looks like everything that a Spiel des Jahres winner should be.
Yes. It has small cardboard tiles. It is 4 players specific. No. Joking aside, the reason I think it is because last year Sky Team won, and I think that really was a perfect example of it. They're going back to their roots of like cooperative is a good mode for them. Family can not only play it but get a lot out of it too.
Yeah.
Flip 7 is a great party game. It works really well.
We have issues with it, though we like it. We have issues with it.
But, I mean, it's the same, like, anytime a single year, or anytime a year where they've had a single little small card game, like Llama, or The Game, or any of those, like, the small card game has never won.
Mm-hmm.
They've always given a nod. They're like, we like the small card game. Congratulations, that's what it is. However, here's the thing, though. A lot of times the simple like drawing game or how do you represent this picture in one way, pictures won it for 1 year.
Yeah, it was the only big one really in Germany.
Yep, there's a lot of those games where it's like, how do we portray this information with only being restricted? Now I don't think that's enough that Crackle or Rackle will
so
get
you're
it.
Thinking Crackle or Rackle is your dark horse, but
I think that's the dark horse. I think it's more likely Bomb Busters.
I think it's going to be Bomb Busters as well. Honestly, I could see Flip 7 getting it just because of how simple the game is and how big it's been worldwide, not just...
It has.
Yeah, and there's other things about it, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
What is your pick for the Kenner?
Okay, let's talk about it. If we're looking at all the previous Kenners, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's games that, if you're fairly used to games, should be no problem to learn, but give you a lot of depth.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're... I think it's hard saying that they're gamer games, because some of them are not gamer games, right? They are advanced games.
Mm-hmm.
I will give it that. And so flat out, I don't think Deep Sea, Endeavor Deep Sea will get it. Like, that is the heaviest game that's been nominated for a long time. However, we have between Far Away and Loot. Far Away is a great game that I like a lot.
Dune Imperium 22 was the biggest one before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dune Imperium is a pretty heavy game. And Lost Roads of Arnak isn't light, but still.
Yeah.
Ark Nova is pretty heavy, too. But again, those are all recommended. Well, I guess Lost Roads was not.
Well, I'm looking at the nominated right here.
But if you look at what's been winning, right, it's a good, deep game, but with generally an approachable mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to learn, a lot to delve into. I think Loot's going to get it.
It's funny because I thought you were going to go Far Away, but Loot was also going to be my pick. Just how simple the game is, but how much depth is there.
Yeah.
Especially, we played a 2-player version of it. I could just imagine it with like a big grouping of people on there. And the thing is like you set up a certain amount of those castles and stuff like that depending on the player count. So it doesn't really change anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. Loot, I think, is going to win it. Far Away would have been my pick until we played Loot, and then I was like, there was enough depth there that I think Loot gets it.
I agree with that, 100%, 100% on that. I think
again, Endeavor is my dark horse because of Daybreak. Daybreak was a bit of a heavier co-op game.
Sure.
That's why it is my pick because it might be they got in trouble. I'm not saying that it's a bad game, but they got in really a lot of hot water with challengers winning the Kennerspiele.
Yeah.
Especially with other games that were nominated during that time, including Planet Unknown.
Because it is lighter than what won the Spiel Des Jahres.
Yeah, it was much like... What was the Spiel of 23?
23 was, I don't remember the Spiel, but I know the Spiel 24 was Sky Team. And that Sky Team is heavier than Challengers.
Yeah. But Challengers won in 23. I was trying to remember.
Dorf
Romantic.
Yeah.
That Challengers is lighter than Dorf Romantic.
Yeah.
It's just because that's a co-op. But, yeah, so I don't know how Challengers won, but I think that's why I say Endeavor might be my dark horse because of the online talk that Challengers got because it won. So, should be interesting. We will know by the end of July, right? That who wins. So.
Yep. So we'll report to you then during that news episode, and we're going to be talking about it anyway.
Yeah.
And then Illuminous, yeah. Challengers does have some depth. It really does. I don't disagree with that.
It does, but it's nowhere compared to something like Daybreak or Planet Unknown. And Planet Unknown is a very simple game that has a lot of depth to it as well.
Yep. I agree. Planet Unknown, I think there was just too much moving in pieces in it. Although, don't get me wrong, I like it more.
Oh, so do I.
Unknown is awesome. So, anyway, that's our guesses. Feel free to tell us your predictions in the chat or in comments down below. Whatever you're watching or listening to this on, let us know your thoughts. If you want to contact us directly, you can at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Remember, our code word today was Blue Ribbon, and you have a chance to win one of those. Put contest in the subject line, in the body, put Blue Ribbon, and a way to contact you if you win. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames. Go give us a follow on that so you can be alerted for that and also have more of a chance to win the contest.
All video re-uploads and reviews are found on YouTube under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things that you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe, which gives you an entry. Like the video and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. Our friends Illuminous, Cult Cardboard, Board Game Bard, and a whole bunch of people who joined us today. Thank you for tuning in and joining some chats. Also, if you subscribe there, it gets you 3 tickets. But if you just follow us so you get notified when we go live, that gets you a free ticket as well.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.